If there are thousands of ways to cheat customers with the physical goods, there are a million ways to cheat the customer with digital goods. In this case, statistical services, but of course also IT services. This video will look extremely technical and I'll just ask you to focus on the consequence than what generates the consequence, because of course that belongs to my domain and it can become easy that we don't understand each other. In a previous video I showed you the easiest way I know till now to let a person consume a statistical model. A statistical model is a mathematical expression that can explain a phenomena or and predict it. In this case, we can consume this model with this button where we insert the values required, and of course you have to know the model in order to understand what to put inside. And if we put these values, we have a response that of course needs to be translated, because it is a transformed of the actual target variable, that is the inflation. I said in the previous video that this model has a not satisfactory performance at all, and I specify this because this video has a whole different topic, and the topic is how differently I could have done the same, that is, make consumable a statistical model with an interface. In this case the interface is quite intuitive, quite. Let's go to see the code. Very briefly, of course, without explanation. I want to focus on the number of rows. That is, if you want an indicator of complexity of the solution. You see that we import just one library, so apparently we have just one dependency. And if you look at this, it seems easy to generate something like this. Well, in some occasions, for example, where many thousands of users use the same service at the same moment, you might want to use a more computationally cheaper code. That is one case. The other case is the person or the company that you employ to create the statistical service wants you locked to them, and instead of providing something easy to understand like this code, they provide something else that now you will see. Again, this is the solution for this statistical service that has a quite easy interface, but there is another one, that is just this one. And you notice that here we just have a link and the actual prediction. Let's do it again. If we go here, we see basically the same link and the response body, that is our prediction. Of course, the values are different, so it is different. But again, notice, here we have basically the same link. We don't have the predict endpoint, but it's not a problem. And we have the same body. You understand that, superficially speaking, this version of statistical service is lighter than this one, because of course here we have, for example, a graphical user interface. If we go to see the code for this version, you notice that we don't stop at 21 rows, but it goes to 70. So the complexity in terms of pure code increases, but you could say here we use two libraries, while here just one. It seems that we have less complexity here than here. But if we go to see the specs of this library, we notice that we have this amount of dependencies. If we go to see the dependencies of this library, we see that we have much less dependencies. Then here I also added this one, but basically is very light as the one I'm showing you. All this to say that yes, in some cases, for example performance, you could choose to have a bigger code but with less dependencies, but in other cases you could have the situation where the supplier cheats you with code that becomes harder to fix or sometimes even to maintain. I say maintain because generally less dependencies in the long run give less problems, because each maintainer of the library generally push updates, and in some cases you could have that some updates conflict with some libraries that you use. Once again, the devil lies into the details. And this is a very technical case where even a apparently simple statistical service can become technically complicated, and sometimes the technically complicated hides let's call it bad commercial practice to have you chained to a specific supplier, like a freelancer, a company, big company, and so on. Do you think that you have statistical services that are bloated in a bad way? We can have a first call where we try to discuss together your case. You can book this free first call in the link you see below in the description. Bye and see you the next time.